Okay, before we get into the markets, let's do an interview on the oil and gas sector. Delay in the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill is not only preventing fresh investments in Nigeria's oil sector, but continues to drive divestment by many international oil companies. To discuss this and other developments in Nigeria's oil sector, I'm joined right now by Lukman Agbola, Head Upstream Oil and Gas at Diamond Bank. Lukman, thank you very much for joining us. You know, Lukman, I want to start on taking from a note from the head of the NNPC. He was speaking at the recent OTC conference in Houston, and he's saying there is no cause for alarm about the divestments we're seeing in the oil and gas space in Nigeria. I wonder if you agree with that sentiment.
Well, thank you very much. It depends on what angle we are looking at it from. The divestment is a good thing for the indigenous company, but it could be too much, you know, if we continue this way. The PIB has been an issue for a very long time, and as you may be aware, investment in this sector has been stalled, particularly the upstream, because of the delay in the passage of the PIB bill. Now, if the divestment continues, the chances are that it may affect you know, further development in the E&P space in Nigeria. All the assets that have been divested from, what you are seeing now is production. There are no new development activities in terms of exploration that is actually going on.
Right.
Now, that is very, very dangerous, right, because without further development, there can't be no additional reserves. So we have to also look at that. But of course, again, while we look at the value such divestments brings to the indigenous companies, we also need to take note that we still need a whole lot of investment in that sector for us to be able to achieve the 40 billion reserves that we've been talking about, at the back of which we want to take daily production to 4 million barrels per day. Right. So we need to be very careful how we look at this issue so that we don't lose foreign investors' interest in the Nigeria oil and gas sector, right, especially the big ones, really.
Right, Claire, you know, it's interesting that we only saw about 0.5% the contraction in the oil and gas space, given all the challenges we've seen recently in Q1. Of course, everyone knows about the oil theft that is going on. Oil production has come down significantly. And so your thoughts about where we are right now as an oil sector, because if the head of the NNPC is saying there is no cause for alarm, one gets the sense that maybe there isn't that sense of urgency about what is going on right now. Quite a few other oil and gas companies are now investing in other parts of the world.
Yes, it's an issue of concern for some industry experts. So many people have talked about that, and I could remember some time ago there was a publication with regards to the fact that some of the investments that are supposed to have come to Nigeria are going elsewhere. And really it's a cause for concern, whichever way we want to look at it. We could say, well, there has not been serious contraction maybe in the last 1 or 2 years, but you need to realize the fact that prior to the militancy issue in the Niger Delta, you know, production was higher than what it is today. Now, if you take into that account, if you look at the fact that militancy issue has gone down and production has gone up, so what we're actually doing is actually opening the tap to go back to where we were. Right. You know, so that doesn't mean that there are actually right, exploration activities going on in that space, which right, is very, very key, really.
Right. Okay. So of course we know
require a whole lot of investment.
We know about the plans of Shell. Of course, they have already done some deals. We're hearing Chevron as well is likely to do some deals. What else can you tell us about who else is looking to divest from Nigeria's oil and gas space?
Yeah, the information at our disposal is that Exxon is also looking at some divestments. You're also aware of the fact that Petrobras is also, you know, divesting from Nigeria. Right. ConocoPhillips is now being concluded. I mean, so what that tells you is that the question is, why is everybody leaving, really? You know, that is the question. That should be a cause for concern for us.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about the capacity of those that are buying. We know for some of those deals, it's a situation where you have local investors partnering with foreign investors. In other cases, it's more a spin around the local investors picking up those assets. If we were to assess the deals that have been done so far, how will you assess the new companies, or if you like, how the assets are performing after these deals?
The truth of the matter is that some of those assets are not performing optimally. They are not doing up to their capacity prior to the militancy issues. Some of those assets are doing between 30 to 60% as we speak. Now, the interesting thing about those divestments is the fact that you put in one bucket the divestments that have the private sector being operating the assets. That is in the case of Seplat. Then you look at the rest of the assets that were divested from by Shell that is being managed by NPDC. You will see that Seplat asset has done fantastically well, beyond the expectation of everybody. Now, what that tells you is that indigenous capacity, technical capacity to deliver in that sector is not in doubt. Over the years, Nigerians have managed both in country and outside Nigeria, even IOC assets, and they have done perfectly well. So the expression of that is what we are seeing in a company like Seplat today. Now, if you look at the other assets that have been divested, you will see that they are not really performing as well as the Seplat asset is doing. So the good thing is that we can look at the two and compare, and arrive at a conclusion.